How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. I thought I'd do a quick video update on stock that I haven't really covered before, but I have spoken about on my channel before, that being Twitter, ticker symbol TWTR, and obviously the big story is that Elon Musk has virtually purchased a 10% stake in the company. So if you want to see how to make quick money, now, even though we don't know what price he bought the shares at, we know that he had the 10% stake on Friday, and that was worth about $2.9 billion US, and following Monday's trade and I think it's about 27% that the stock jumped, that position he had is now worth about $3.8 billion. So he's almost made $1 billion over the course of a weekend just through this announcement. Now, it's very interesting because Elon Musk, about a month ago, sort of alluded in a tweet that maybe he might be looking at starting his own social media because he had lost a bit of faith in Twitter and the restrictions it's putting on public discourse. And he's not alone in that. It's actually a fairly conservative view to take on the platform. It's probably what's inspiring Donald Trump's touted social media venture that he's looking to go into. And I think Elon Musk probably thinking similar lines too, that he wants to shake up and change what social media is all about. And he's probably come to the realization, it might be hard to build one from the ground up, given that people are starting to move away from that sort of form of social media, and those businesses are looking at pivoting into sort of a more futuristic metaverse style scenario. So why not take up a stake in Twitter? Now, the interesting thing is, when he put out that tweet about a month ago saying how bad Twitter is and alluding that he might be creating his own social media platform, it'd be really interesting to see when he actually started buying the shares, because I'm sure that tweet alone would have actually helped push the Twitter stock price down further, and it has been at near lows before yesterday, of course. So that'd be interesting, because Elon Musk has got a bit of a reputation for using Twitter to almost pump up certain financial assets. Obviously, he's nicknamed the Dodge Father. All the stuff he's done with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and his tweets. So he's kind of done it in a sense through the financial filings of Twitter. He's smart. He knows that by taking up such a big position in the company, that's eventually going to become public knowledge. And he knows that when his name's attached to something, it's going to shoot up. So call it what you will, it is actually a form of manipulation in my mind. Anyway, not taking anything away from Elon Musk. I wish I had his sort of pull when it came to influencing markets and stuff. He obviously knows how to harness it. He's made billions just from crypto, and also from Twitter, almost, more or less. So why do I think he bought into Twitter? So aside from being a bit of an active investor and maybe trying to want to change the landscape for social media, particularly Twitter going forward, he's a very futuristic thinking person, and he knows how important information is. And while he might think the model of Twitter is quite good for communicating, he probably thinks it's a good opportunity to get into something that's probably going to have a bit more of a big role in the future. So obviously, you look at one of Twitter's main competitor really is Facebook, or now called Meta, and what they're aiming to do. So Twitter is obviously going to be trying to get into that space in some form or another, and Elon Musk probably saw the beaten down share price in Twitter, but he also knows how influential it is, and he knows the fact that he can probably bring a bit of balance to it, because he does kind of bring that more conservative view to the platform, which is probably something the platform has lacked. So he's probably going to be someone who can help galvanize and bring back the Twitter crowd to being a little bit more unified in the sense of the representation on there. So it's a bit of a light bulb. Yeah, and I think basically he's probably using it as some sort of vehicle to make a stake in that future sort of social interactive space, the metaverse, as it's kind of being touted by Meta. Anyway, I've previously spoken about Twitter on this channel before I really got into stocks, so I did mention the stock there. And I thought that that they kind of were that wasn't going very well, and I think that has actually come out in recent months. But I guess the renewed interest that Elon Musk could bring to the company, and perhaps even if his ideas can be integrated by the company's board in some form, could be beneficial for Twitter. While he hasn't quite bought a 10% stake, he's only bought a 9.8% stake in the company, which means he qualifies, according to the SEC, as a passive investor. If he owns 10%, he does become an active investor, and there's a whole lot of other restrictions on what he does. So I think as a passive investor, he's actually able to quite freely sell his shares. So this could very much be a little bit of a pump and dump play by Elon Musk, but it could also be a stake in what he's looking at doing in the future. He's a smart man, and he's always one step ahead of the rest of us. He's a bit like Cathy Wood. Anything he talks about is going to like send the retail investing crowd into a flutter, or in this case, into a Twitter. Anyway, that's probably about all I'll say on this one. It's not really my typical form, but I just thought it was something that was worth talking about anyway. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Hope the market's going in your favour today. Cheers.